Now, hello and welcome to another episode, a brand new year of Never a Straight Answer, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm Gaz, your host, and joined in the studio, as always, you know him best. He's the scourge of the underground and the haunted tube station Taylor.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? Whoa.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
God, oh my days, it's all kicking off in the studio today.
It is.
Wow.
It is.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
2020.
Yeah.
How's your year? How's your year shaping up? In fact, you know what? It's been a while since we've done a podcast. I think we've been on and done an episode. Well, just before Christmas, I think we did our freestyle episode.
We did.
And then we concluded our advent calendar with Christmas Eve.
Yes.
Hope everyone enjoyed it. It was funny to do, and it was a good little experiment as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I found.
Yeah.
And how's your New Year?
Yeah, same as
last year.
I'm not doing anything like I'm going to go down to the gym or I'm going to stop.
I was about to ask, have you got any New Year's resolutions? No. I said my New Year's resolution, as always, is to not have any New Year's resolutions. Therefore, you can't be disappointed because you haven't broke any. Yeah. Now, exactly. if I suddenly start hitting the gym in the next couple of weeks, I'll feel disappointed in myself because I've just broken my New Year's resolution.
Yeah, and your wallet.
And my wallet. Yeah. So, the world's my gym. Yeah. If I want to go and do a pull-up, I'll find a park somewhere and do, but not that I don't feel the need.
I think I've given myself a couple of goals.
Oh, I've got a goal. I've got a few goals. I've got a few things that
4 goals.
That I know I want to get sorted. Yeah. Few things that I want to get sorted out. But
apart from that, let's see how the rest of the year turns out.
That's it, innit?
You know what I mean?
So, well, I mean, my year's been a bit shit, to be honest, so far, because literally New Year's Eve, I was asleep by 8 o'clock because I wasn't feeling too great.
Party, man.
Well, I don't know, because this is it. I woke up at about midnight with explosions going off, and it was like, obviously, people were celebrating and doing fireworks outside, and it woke me up. So I was like, fucking hell, it's New Year's Eve, no way. But I've ended up being really ill over the last couple of weeks. I'll be honest with you, it's not been the greatest, but seems to be over the worst now. So it can only get better.
As the song says.
I do apologise for cancelling last week.
Yeah, no problem.
We were supposed to be doing the topic that we were covering tonight. We were supposed to cover last week, but because I went and broke myself. We decided to push everything back a week, so do apologise. But tonight, it's episode. What episode is it?
What episode is it?
It's
It's a great episode.
It's episode 69.
Hell yeah!
Guys, are really us? What number are we thinking of? 69, dudes!
Hey, it's episode 69. We're not going to go down a crude topic.
Or anything like
that. No, we're not going to do
backwards, forwards, and out.
We're not going to do a fucking top and tail.
Okay.
But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some hauntings. Today. Right. Now, this is an interesting topic for me because I mean I'm from Manchester, England, UK, right? But I sometimes, in fact, quite often have to go to London to do my job, right? Yeah. And there's a couple of tube stations. Now, I hate getting the tube, right? And I don't know what it is that I don't like about it, if it's just like the fact that there's so many people there, or...
Do you think it's creepy?
Do you know what? It is a little bit, but like I've never felt like these are any sort of presence. But I think because you're so in a rush to get what places, you're so oblivious to the
clambered together though with other people right next to each other.
I think you're just so kind of. I always worry about pickpockets.
Pickpocket.
But I don't really worry about spiritual happenings or sort of like feel like I'm being watched. Yeah. But then I was thinking about this earlier, right? Now, what we're going to be discussing tonight is haunted tube stations, or the most haunted tube stations and the stories that are linked behind them. Yeah. But I was thinking, Now, in a packed, busy tube station, if I'm trying to catch a train, right, I'm seeing about hundreds of other people like in the train station, Now, if I was to go past one of them and I was the only one to see them, I wouldn't know because I'm in a rush, So we could be passing ghosts in these tube stations on a daily basis, but not necessarily noticing them.
That's probably why they're being more noticed when they're either shut down or they're quiet.
Because a lot of the time, it does seem to be like the sightings in the night time when these when the network workers have closed the station down for the night.
Yeah, but then that's the time when your brain can start playing tricks with you.
Totally. And again, there's been a bit of research into like low frequencies, and that because it's so low down and the resonances and stuff like that it could be playing tricks on the mind and the sight and everything else. But there's been so many documented cases and reasons why people suspect, and even the cases linked to the ghost sightings in ways where it's too much of a coincidence. So we'll be going into that a bit later on. Anyway, we've got so much to discuss. It's been a bit of an eventful couple of weeks. So we've got a lot of stuff ranging from NASA news, stupid stories, bit of politics, bit of what the fuck is going on with the Royals, and maybe
World War III,
and potentially World War III. But if World War III happens, we will guide you. We'll be here every step of the way, telling you what the fuck's going on.
I think we're too old to get called up now.
This is it. I heard a load of teenage lads on the bus talking about World War III the other day, and I was just sat there thinking, well, it's you we were going because I'm too old.
we're home guard, mate.
That's
we're sitting at home.
I'm like the younger lot of the home guard. It's like, or they'll put me in as a general straight away, and I'll be like, come on, lads, over the top.
Fucking Field Marshal, Field Marshal Taylor, right? Wait, this is how we're doing it, son.
This is
Grab your bollocks because we're steaming in.
So, we've got quite a lot to talk about. We'll kick off with a bit of news.
I thought Iran was kicking off again then.
What?
I thought you were just going to give us a burst that the Iran was going to kick off again.
Iran, well,
we can't say kick off and like just leave it standing there for a few seconds.
They're saying that they've kind of they took a step back, the Iranians, but who knows? I don't know.
They know.
We'll discuss it anyway when we talk about the news. It's the news. It's the NASA news, and we're back for 2020 with the first news of the year.
Yes, and a lot of it, and
hell of a lot.
Yeah.
Hell of a lot of news for your ears. Yes. So, do you want to kick us off, Taylor?
Where begin? Let's start off with the Royals, eh?
Hey.
What do you think about this? Harry and Meghan.
Right. Well, actually, I was thinking about this because obviously the Queen's pissed, right?
Is she pissed again? She's always on that fucking
She's
sherry.
Always on the sherry. You know
she's old enough. She's done a lot of duty, so she's.
What I'm saying is, she's pissed off at Harry. In fact, apparently worse than she would be pissed off at Andrew for the whole fucking Epstein thing,
pedo
right?
And
now,
the Prince.
That Epstein thing's been going on a while, right? So it's all old news, right? They've probably been through it a million times, right? Yeah. So the Queen's at a stage where she probably was pissed back when it first arose, because it's the royal name, the Windsor name, and it's like, it's not exactly good press, right?
Hell no.
Whereas this is kind of like, now, at the end of the day, I think we've always had this in this country where it's like we have an heir and we have a spare. Yeah, right. There was Prince Charles, who is the heir, and Prince Andrew, the party kid, doesn't have any responsibilities. He's just a royal, right? Yeah. And the fact is that these are the ones that get in the media trouble, right? Yeah. So obviously Harry got in a bit of trouble a few years ago, went off the rails. Yeah. But I like the kid. I think he's a good lad. Yeah, I like him. Now, what I think with this Meghan Markle is she's come from a Hollywood background where it's pretty glitz and glamour, right? Now, she's obviously now been brought into a very prim and proper royal family,
Yeah.
right, and expected to behave in a certain way.
Yeah, of course.
Now, if she's put it in William's ear, now I keep thinking of, remember the film Coming to America with Eddie Murphy?
Yeah,
and
mate.
he turns around at the end and
The
says,
royal penis is clean.
the royal penis has been cleaned.
Yeah.
Zamunda. Yeah. So it's like, he turns around to her and he says, I will renounce my throne. If you don't want me to be the king or be royal,
Yeah, but
I would do that for you. Now, do you think
problem.
Meghan's turned around to him and said, I bet you wouldn't do that for me? And he's gone, I fucking would.
No, I think she's stepped into them shoes far too big, and she didn't realise
what she was getting herself
yeah.
into. And now it's a case of, to save the marriage, is this a case of like, this is what he's prepared to do for her? Move to Canada, be financially independent.
Well, he's at the time anywhere he's changing. Apparently they've got 34 million standing by. Yeah. Now,
well, Charles has threatened to cut them off fully.
Well, yeah.
So they won't get no financial backing for us
from the public purse. That 5, and the rest is actually from Charles. So he could do that and wreck the trust. And the security alone is going to what?
Well, do you know what I'm going to say,
Harry?
You best go and get yourself a fucking job. Yeah.
Well, he wants millionaires and billionaires to come invest into his.
What, invest in me? Invest in Harry?
Basically.
Well, what's he got? What is he planning? What's he got? Like a big sort of company.
He wants to save the earth. I think.
My hat's off to the guy. Like I say, I actually really like Prince Harry, and I think
you heard his excuse though?
No.
That the press are hounding him. Hold on,
again,
because you were told twice, because you were going on and saying, "Oh yeah, climate change, blah blah, this that and the other," and you fancied.
Well, I've got a bit of an issue with this.
A plane.
Got a bit of an issue with this, right? Because I'm not being funny, but Paul McCartney a fair few years ago, he went recluse, right? Now, what do you think the media did?
John Lennon did, didn't he?
Yeah, so did John Lennon.
Yeah.
Right, but what did the media do? They make more of an effort to try and fucking find you.
Yeah.
They want to try and find out what you're doing.
Yeah.
They don't want to be kind of going, we'll leave him alone now, because he's gotten living in the
making
mountains
more
somewhere.
Publicity
exactly.
Of reducing it.
So, in terms of you trying to get out, in fact, the safest place for you to be is in the public eye. Yeah, you're a royal.
But his mother's got to be in the back of his head. His mother has got to be in the back of his head.
Obviously,
you know what I mean?
and that's always going to be like a seed that he's worried about. He's worried about his wife. He's worried about his kids.
He doesn't want anything like that. Yeah,
now,
of course.
But is it warrant enough to kind of renounce the whole sort of...
I don't think he can. To be honest, I don't think he can. I don't think he should. I think basically she needs to pull her socks up and look.
Well, it's rather you're either in or you're out, aren't you?
She isn't happy. Apparently, she isn't happy.
Well, I kind of saw that. Yeah,
he asked her the question.
It's all kind of amazing when I'm sure there's a lot of American women and other people around the world and women all around the world who'd be like, oh yeah, a bit of Prince. Yeah, it's fucking baked into them from young age watching Disney movies. Disney princesses. They find a nice prince, charming, all the rest of it. Yeah, right. It's a fucking dream.
You got Randy, Andy, and you had Charles.
I'm sure Melon Mark. I was going to say what's she called again? Megan. Right, Megan. I'm sure it was a dream come true.
Yeah.
The whole royal wedding, all the rest of it. Yeah,
the Duchess of Sussex.
She's the Duchess of Sussex now, isn't she?
And they've only been there once.
What, to Sussex?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it does to me. Yeah.
But I'm sure it was a wonderful dream come true for her and the family. Yeah.
But
now reality's set in and realised what's actually involved.
Yeah.
I don't think she seems to be too happy.
Sunbathing and all that. You're actually going to have to do that. But she's got
wear unflattering suits and go to shake a lot of hands. Yeah.
Well, apparently there's talk about she's got plans of when if she goes back, she'd be well big in Hollywood. She'd be making all the movies she could. But then she's going to be in a situation.
She's actually because she's actually a legitimate princess.
Yeah.
She's a legitimate princess. Yeah. If she goes back home, right. Look at the Beckhams. Right. How the Beckhams are in China, in America.
700,000 a month to pay for security.
They get treated like royalty when they're not. Yeah. Whereas imagine how.
But they're a target.
At the end of the day, mate, it's like if Harry and Meghan go and move to the States or Canada, then they would be more legit than the presidents.
What about the house that we've got over here, though? The taxpayer have just paid 22 million in decorating it.
So it's like a council grant, innit?
Yeah,
a government subsidy.
You know what I mean? And now you know what? Can we stay in there when we go away and when we come back and stuff like that?
Just have it as a holiday.
You know
home.
what? No, he's either got to renounce it, or he's got to get her to book.
Well, I hope they sort it out anyway, because I think, like I say, I think she's probably bitten off a bit more than she can chew.
Yeah,
he should.
Like a nice.
He should know better because he knows what the life's about.
Yeah,
right. But you know, whatever they decide to do,
the real life. But he hasn't.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? So I suppose that in a funny kind of way, it's sort of like the Diana and Charles reverse.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, it is the reverse. And obviously when Diana was, she's just a regular lass, and I'm sure she was craving
more than that,
craving a bit of a normal life, as well as living the royal life, as well.
But you can't do that. You know what I mean? I mean, the royals, they're going to always be a target for dickheads and people who want a quick buck and stuff like this.
He's a fucking dickhead.
Yeah. So it's just a case of. I don't know. Well,
I was trying to figure out what that quote was from
then.
But I think it was something like Flight of the Conchords or something. He's a fucking
Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah, have you never seen Flight of the Conchords? They're a comedy parody. No, they're a comedy duo, musical duo. Yeah.
Right.
So they're like they describe themselves as New Zealand's third, probably best, like novelty folk group. Yeah, but they're really funny. But they did a TV series. Anyway, it's not relevant. Yeah, but because they're from New Zealand, he's a fucking dickhead.
Fucking dickhead.
It's the accent that made me laugh. Yeah, sorry, off track. So, what do you reckon about the royals absconding or trying to do what they're doing? I mean, again, if you've got any comments or you want to let us know your thoughts, something we missed, or if you've got an opinion,
drop quite a bit on it.
Definitely. Drop us a comment on Twitter or on the website.
Yeah,
and we'll read it out next time.
Yeah, we will.
So, bit of news. Obviously, fucking hell. Well, it's been kicking off, hasn't it?
Are we going there?
We're going to go there now. We're going to briefly cover it. Yeah, because obviously. Say briefly.
Yeah.
We'll briefly cover it.
We'll try and briefly. Yeah.
But obviously probably go on a little bit longer than that.
Yeah.
So it all kicked off. It started where the Iranians fired on some American bases over in Iran. Is that not how it started?
No, it started by over the last couple of months. I think there was 11 attacks just before New Year's Day, I think it was, or Christmas Day. One of the embassies in Iraq was being attacked by Iranian internal forces.
But didn't Trump send his forces in to basically off one of their generals?
No, basically they sent a drone out to take out basically the second most powerful man in Iran.
Right.
Took him out, but he was once an ally who actually helped us getting rid of ISIS and the.
But there always are. This is the thing. It was like Osama bin Laden was trained by MI5 and CIA, and also fucking educated over here. So and used to give us information and intelligence.
I can't remember the general.
You don't know what goes on, and then if they decide that they're gonna change fucking coats, and decide that I am anti-American, anti-English, anti-fucking everyone else.
He wasn't. No, he was a controller of the area. He basically had the power to control the Middle East. Basically, he already told Saddam Hussein off for using chemical weapons. That's why he stopped.
Right.
But then he also told tactics to the terrorists for when our armed forces were in Iraq and Afghanistan, how to use the IEDs and stuff like this. And he was a great tactician.
Yeah, but were these missile attacks in retaliation to that? Is what I'm getting at.
They got two bases in Iraq. They took out one helicopter, one empty bunker and a shitload of tents. But then, which hasn't been really announced much more.
Yeah, because there was actually no
fatalities.
Fatalities, nobody even was injured, which is fucking very impressive, But
but they were prepared, weren't they?
Yeah, I suppose.
And not only that, a couple of days afterwards, which they don't talk about a lot now at the minute, there was also an attack on an embassy, rockets, but they actually missed from quite far. But there was still an attempt to take out the embassy, American embassy. Yeah.
So I'm watching this anyway, and it's all kind of to-ing and fro-ing, and then Trump turns around and he says, well, Iran have took a step back. It looks like they're not retaliating, right? But then this plane goes down, and obviously fucking heart goes out to the passengers' families.
186 people.
180 something people. A majority of them were Canadian. So, obviously, for all those people living out in Canada, fucking families who've been affected by it, fucking heart goes out to you. As well as everyone else who was on the plane. Now, it seemed dodgy, man. It was like all of a sudden this plane just disappears off radar, and next minute it kind of just trails out of control and crashes. And there was a report that from a guy who witnessed it on the ground, who said that it looked like the pilot had actually tried to steer the plane away from like residential areas and landed it on a football field. But it didn't seem right that a plane would just drop out of the ground and out of the sky, and it just seemed a bit bizarre.
Well, apparently he was turning round.
Well, I said to you,
to get back to the airport for some reason.
Well, no, because I thought, why would he? No, because it seemed like they took off.
He was turning, but he was.
No,
turning.
I think it turned because it was tail hit by the. So I think
this.
Yeah, it's hit and it's knocked it round. Yeah. It spun it around midair.
Yeah, that is part. Yeah,
and then the fact that the pilot's tried to kind of right it and tried to steer it away from residential areas. Yeah, and then swung around in a bit of a loop. And then crashed it, right?
Well, I heard first reports there was like big parts out of the back of the plane. Yeah, it was like it was being.
So basically, so we had a discussion about it, didn't we? And we were saying about how they were being a bit kind of cagey about giving away the black box and stuff like that, which would obviously tell a lot about what happened.
Not exactly going wrong with Americans at the minute.
Yeah, exactly. This is the point, isn't it? But the Canadians have got nothing to do with it, right?
Yeah, they're allowed to have a look.
And BA, who actually made the plane, should have every right to say, literally, yes, they have it. It was 3 years old, the plane. It was a new plane, right?
Which they bought.
If the makers of that plane... and there's a fucking accident of such magnitude, they turn around and say, we need this information because we want to make sure that it's not a fault that's going to happen on every other plane.
Yeah, but it's mine and I don't have to give you that if I don't wish to.
Right, that's fair, what they're doing. But that's a legitimate enough reason for BA to ask for it. Do you not think?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I totally
agree. For them to turn around...
The Canadians will pass the info on.
Exactly, but for them to turn around and say, nah, we're not going to give it, that made me alarm bells ring. And I started to... And I said it to you, I said on the evening, that was shot down there. Yeah. And then by the morning, it had been confirmed that that's what had happened, and there was actually video evidence of the missile hitting the plane. And it
was actually Ukrainian.
Was it?
It was a Ukrainian plane, yeah.
Well, yeah, because it was heading to the Ukraine. Yeah. Well, there was a bit of kind of thing about... Well, there was planes that have crashed in the Ukraine as well, haven't they? And they've been a bit kind of funny about what the fuck... Yeah, and how that happened, or was it a human error, or what?
Well, it's definitely now turned out that the satellites that are watching us constantly 24/7 7 days a week actually
it's the panopticon, man. We're living in the panopticon.
2 blips of weaponry, basically. So it was the weapon taking off and the weapon hitting the actual plane by the looks of things. So now, like, everyone, I think, is in agreement now that it was shot down. The question is, was it shot down on purpose? And if it was, who was on board? And if it wasn't...
Well, apparently there was 2 passengers who didn't get on the plane, who had tickets but didn't make it. So there was a bit of speculation.
Well,
this is that was the first thing I thought of. It was like, wow, they probably feel like, you know, I'm so happy that I missed that flight.
Yeah.
It's probably kicking themselves an hour earlier, but now, fuck me, I'm so glad I missed it.
Yeah.
But
carry on, children.
Yeah, no, but then the thing, the news were in sort of insinuating that they could have had connections to it. Like it was these two people now needed investigating.
No, not
so
to
it was like,
news, no more, so. Yeah,
okay.
And you know what? I didn't do it, but I should have done it. You know, like instances like this happens. Yeah. First thing you should do, where if you get a paper, is first thing you have a look is the small headlines the very next day.
Oh wow, yeah.
Have a look at the small headlines because you'll get more information on.
Of course, it's main headlines are headline grabbers, aren't they? They're there for a reason. It's like, you know, if I put, you know, page 3 model fucking shows vagina whilst getting out of a taxi, right, as my headline, it's usually celebrity, isn't it? Potentially fucking sell the paper, but if you put drip dry fucking stuff,
but if like obviously it's going to be all over the papers, but generally people will look at.
I know that sounds really horrible, but it is a bit true.
But yeah, you will have a look at the smaller things, not the bigger things, because that bigger thing could be the thing that's covering the little thing. Yeah, if you know what I mean. There's always a cover like that. I've seen fucking thousands of the cunts.
Well, there you go. I mean, it's a bit of a topic that we're going to keep coming back to, I think. Obviously, if it does progress into something a bit bigger, then, you know, we'll try and get you the latest on that.
But I did notice something, though, that by Trump killing this general, and we're in between it because we're an ally, but we're also in the deal with stopping them getting nuclear power.
Yeah.
We now realistically cannot turn round and say to any other government that you cannot do this, because if we agree to it, then what happened with the polonium? It wasn't the polonium, was it? You know, the poisoning in England by the two Russian officers. Apparently,
allegedly,
allegedly. We cannot say anything about that because they've done exactly the same thing to an operative that used to work for their government. The only thing
into another country and killed them off. The
only thing we can say about that is the two victims who died, the couple that died, who found the so-called perfume afterwards. And I think a police officer as well.
There was innocents who were affected by that Novichok.
And using poison, Novichok, and using that poison as well. That's the only two things we can really.
Yeah, of course, because that's if you send a gunman in and just target that one person, that's fucking fair enough. Yeah. But introducing a chemical element's naughty as fuck. Yeah, you obviously subjecting innocent people and bystanders to that. That torture, that punishment, whereas like it's not aimed at them.
Yeah, but the thing is, that used to be given to a group. There used to be a group called Group 13. It's a section of the SAS,
right?
And basically, what it was I think it was 12 assassins, right, from around the world. I think it was mainly Western world, who were basically.
Well, it sounds like you're going to say
thrown out to assassinate.
Sounds like a plot of John Wick 4.
Yeah, have a look up for it. It's called Group 13. It pops out of SAS in the 40s, and I've got a bit on it actually, but we might have to do a story on it actually.
All right, we'll have a look into it.
Yeah, get into it. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to lighten things up a little bit now, since we've been all serious with war and stuff and royals. Yeah. Well, got a story here about a teacher, who wore a skin-tight internal organ bodysuit to teach her students anatomy.
No wrong with that.
Which I thought was pretty good. She's got a girl. She's not got a bad figure on her as well, to be fair. So, she's a teacher. She's a teacher of 15-year-old 15-year-old students, I suppose. Like she's a head teacher, like a high school teacher.
There'll be a few who won't be standing up that day.
She's from Spain.
Oh, you're joking.
She came up with an alternative way of teaching her students about the anatomy. So what she's done is she donned the skin-tight bodysuit.
Oh, shit. What did the parents say?
She's called Veronica Dunque, 43. And she's basically put this bodysuit on, and it's supposed to show all of the, like internal organs and stuff like that. I thought it was a pretty good idea, and obviously thinking outside the box in terms of teaching. Yeah. Because obviously some kids are visual learners. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that is very true. And
if Miss comes in wearing a fucking skin tight lycra bodysuit, that's pretty visual. Do you know what I mean?
True. That's true.
So she's she arrived to lesson at the Maria Theresa Intego school, and wearing a white collar before removing it.
Hey, that's good. I like that. What do you mean? No bottom half.
I know. Yeah. Well, there you
go.
There
we go.
So, but I mean,
that's pretty good. That is a good design.
But this is it. She can kind of demonstrate where things are legitimately on a human. Do you know what
I mean? I don't think it was as crude as I was
first imagined.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
I think that's good. That's a good suit. That.
Well, she's had a few she's come up with a few different ways of teaching. She's also used cardboard crowns to help her students learn grammar. Also, very different for them to understand the difference between verbs and nouns at that age. So she's given some something analog, and it makes them very excited. To think it's visual mediums. She's basically giving them something tangible in the hand, which helps them grasp that grabs that. Do you know what? And I think that's applaudable, to be honest, because I think teachers
learn better by visualization.
Yeah, exactly. I'm one of those types of people, and I think that students and schools don't look at students in that way. Yeah, nope. And they basically go syllabus. Yeah, we can teach them all the same shit. Yeah,
well, that's why dyslexics can't.
Exactly,
go as far.
Kids.
That's why we can
some kids are put in the naughty category or dumb category because they're just not. They don't grasp learning in the same way. Whereas they're not stupid kids. They just need a different approach.
Way. Yeah. It.
Now I think teachers like this should be fucking commended.
Yeah,
and well into the girls. Yeah. So I think obviously when I told you the story, I knew you were going to think it was going to be a bit of a.
Well, what do you expect? It's number 69. You know,
episode 69.
Yeah, I thought you were going to get all the dirty guns out then.
Wait a minute.
Are really us? What number are we thinking of?
69, dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't help it. Sorry. So, yeah, I think again, I think when you've got kids who don't learn in the same way, that some kids probably thought, God. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think if
they would have learned something,
you got to try these things, haven't you? Now she's had an idea about. We had one teacher in our school who was very kind of good like that. I'm going to give a shout out to Mr. Pinder. Yeah, Mr. Pinder, my science teacher in high school. He was a quality guy, actually, right? And there was a lot of kids in our school. I went to an all boys school, and they went. There was a lot of kids who had a bit of attitude, whatever. Thought they were this, that, and the other. Thought they fuck off. They thought they were a bit the big I am, right? Yeah. And they weren't listening in science, and he was trying to teach photosynthesis.
Oh yeah.
As soon as he kind of started discussing it as a ganja plant, mate, everybody wanted to listen.
Yeah,
the whole school, they're right making notes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he was like, experiments?
Right, so growing cannabis, photosynthesis. Let me, and everyone went, what?
That's it, man.
It's like, we got farmers.
But that's it. But that's the right thing. That's the right attitude. You've got to grab their interest.
Exactly. It's teach them in a way that's going to interest them. And now, if that is, it sounds a bit illegal.
One or two out.
Yeah, we're a bit.
But how legal is it? I mean, kids shouldn't be smoking that kind of shit. But
if you've
got control.
If you grasp the knowledge because of that fact, then what's the harm?
Then he's a weed dealer when he gets out of school.
Fuck it.
Hey, he earns money.
Yeah, it's funny. I thought it was quality.
Like that.
So have you got anything else you want to talk about?
I got a long one.
Oh, is it a long one?
Yeah, I got.
Should we save that for the extra then?
Yeah, I think we should.
I think so.
It's
Well, we've got quite a lot of different stories. Let me have a look. Oh, yeah. I've seen this one. I thought it was quite interesting. Do you know Dell Alienware?
Yeah.
Right, so Alienware used to be its own sort of computer or laptop company, a computer company.
Yeah.
And then Dell bought them out. And then apparently they went a bit shit. Now they've just released the concept video of footage for a new UFO hands-on console. So it looks very much like the Switch, and apparently it's going to give it a bit of a run for the money, and it's a gaming PC.
Oh, nice.
So obviously everyone's kind of been on the cartridge console model for a long time. PC gaming has got a lot more popular, but again, you're kind of married to these big hunking machines or laptops. So for them to bring a console out, which is a handheld device, which I think is pretty,
Yeah, but then you start creating more issues.
Well, no, because I think again,
you're going to be leaning back, playing the game. You're going to be in different positions where you should be. When you should be in that kind of state, you should be sat down.
The point that I'm trying to make is right now. There's always been a bit of a difference between PC gaming and console gaming. Now, the console gaming was a console because you needed a cartridge, or you needed a disc, or you needed something like that. Right. Now everything's going streaming and downloading. So why is the content any different that I'm downloading for an Xbox, PlayStation, or PC? It's just.
Because they're all individual and they all want to get the market and they all want
that's
more money.
What I'm saying. It's like if PC now, you don't need to do an installation, or you do. It's just a case of downloading your game like you would on the Xbox. So it makes sense to me that PCs or Microsoft or Alienware or Dell or whoever would branch out into these types of consoles because it's not a case of being the nostalgic keyboard and mouse clicking sort of gaming anymore. You can kind of bring the quality of a PC game into a handheld console. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree, but then it's like your phone. You're going round, you're watching movies on your phone where you're going from.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same.
It's not the right environment
exactly.
to really doing it.
Yeah, I mean, people I watch films on my phone, and it's like I don't enjoy it as much as I would on a big screen or a cinema, but it's like, have I really seen that film?
It's moving the objectives of doing something,
I got the gist
anywhere,
but it's not as
isn't always a
immersive.
Good thing.
So
it's
I think
not always a good thing.
I think these handheld things are nice for when you're on the go or whatever. If you're on a train or a plane or whatever.
Be a PC. And what they really need is something where I think we was nearly right, which is where you work your way by actually doing a bit of exercise as well as just sitting on your butt.
Yeah, that's
cool.
What
I mean? Because,
in fact, there's a thing in the film Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Well, in the book, which is well better than the film. I recommend you go and watch it. Ernest Cline's Ready Player One. In fact, there's a good audio book on Audible. Check that out. It's actually narrated by Will Wheaton, but he says poseur instead of poser, and it pisses me off. So sorry, Will. But in that book, the idea is that you're going into a virtual reality environment, which is essentially the internet. Everything's on there. You can work there. You can
like
do
Tron was
bit
it?
Kind of like that. Yeah. So it's a virtual reality environment. But in the book, you kind of the main character ends up putting on a lot of weight because he's a lazy fuck. He's in this virtual reality world all the time. Yeah,
this is why I'm against avatars as well, because it's just going to wear you down.
So it gets to a point with bloody hell. So he gets to a point where he makes a decision where he sets a thing on his machine that says he has to do certain amount of physical activity before the machine lets him into the game.
Good idea.
And it means that if you don't do it, you just can't get in. So it's like
that means that they have to. The company would have to put effort into making it that way, and also lose some money because you're not going to put as much money in because you're actually doing work effort. That's what you get paid for going to work for, is your energy by doing stuff.
No, but it's all about it's
for.
something that could be in the settings where you could kind of choose to do that if you wanted.
I don't think you should
if you
have
felt
an option.
like you had too much time on these machines,
go
where you
radical.
could set a thing that says no, you've got to have done X amount of, even to a point now where you've got a Fitbit. Yeah. So Fitbits exist, right? If Microsoft created a Fitbit that you could put on your kid and say, right, okay, Xbox won't physically let you into the Xbox and play games until you've done X amount of steps or certain amount of physical activity. Yeah. Now, if your Fitbit registers that you have done that, then fair enough, you can go on your games.
It's a good idea,
but if you don't, if you just woke up in the morning and you're thinking, shit, man, I'm playing on Xbox all day, then your Fitbit won't let you, or your device won't let you get into the game physically because you've not gone for a walk.
Well, look, we have had the choice of paying the money for the game for years. Now we should have the choice to actually. Where was I going with this? I lost it.
He's lost it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, fucking up. Yeah, I had something in my head there, but then when you was talking there,
I think that's a good idea. I think it's a good idea to keep kids out, not just kind of active, but they might find that
should be taken out of your hands now because you're too lazy.
Well, but potentially these kids might actually go out and fucking find out that they actually have fun.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because every kid's in the same boat. They're all got to go out and play because otherwise they can't play the fucking.
And an adult's one.
Well, they're trying to do that with kind of YouTube and stuff like that.
You know it's going to intercept, and you know there's going to be some dirty bastards who's going to try and get in there as well.
To actually get into the kids'
so it's
side?
It's going to have to be fucking highly secure. Yeah, don't forget, we've got Prince Andrew out there.
Well, there was actually a story I heard talking about predators.
Maybe up for
talking about this type of thing.
Yeah.
There was a story of a young girl, say about 20. I think she was about 21.
Yes, she was 21, yeah.
She was dressing up and disguising herself as a 14-year-old boy.
I thought it was a 16.
Well,
16-year-old.
Either way, 14 to 16.
Yeah.
She was disguising herself, making herself look like a little boy, meeting young lads off the internet, grooming them, and then she's basically been caught now.
Yeah.
And but it's the fact that the photo of her, she scrubs up as a young lad. When she's got a baseball cap on, and she just looks like a normal little young lad. And but what I was thinking is, it's a strange situation, isn't it? Because it's like, how do you then persuade these boys that you're a boy, and then go, what do you do? Go take your hat off and go, dinner.
Oh no, I think it was. I think they didn't go that far because apparently a lot of them were shocked when they got a knock on the door with the police turning around saying, "Did you know this was actually
a 21-year-old woman?"
And even the
it kind of reminded me of that the reverse of that when we were talking about that orphan who was claiming to be 6.
Oh yeah. Where is that little nutter?
I'm going to look into it for next week. But apparently last time I heard she was
she's in another family now.
She was she'd been adopted by a priest or a reverend.
Fucking hell, he's
and his wife. And he claims she is a 6-year-old.
No,
so, fuck knows.
No fucking way.
We're going to keep going on it and see where we can find for next week.
But
Nadia is it's a story that keeps on giving, isn't it? Really,
it does. But the question, what? What's it giving you? Giving you nightmares if you have a look. Yeah.
So, go into some NASA news.
Ooh,
Elon Musk. Obviously, they've been sending up their satellite SpaceX.
They have, yeah. New Year's, I think they started that.
Yeah, so Starlink satellite network has basically been. They've started to send it up. They've put a big graphic up on Business Insider.
Don't like it.
That basically shows what it's going to look like when all these satellites are sent up, because they're going to be sending up 60 satellites every 2 weeks for the foreseeable future in 2020. And they're basically creating, if you didn't know what this was all about,
monster.
They're trying to create a global internet network by the end of the year, right? So by sending up all these satellites, it's trying to get global coverage.
Yeah.
Now it just looks messy. Yeah, I think it's like we're talking about
takeover, man.
Polluting. It's like, is this going to be this? It does seem like a big.
It looks like
we're being invaded.
Yeah. I think Skynet's here.
Skynet is definitely here.
Skynet is here.
And it's Elon Musk's fucking brainchild. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, well, he is a bit of a genius.
Customers will be able to connect to the Skylink using a Musk, as what Musk described on Tuesday.
A Musk phone.
If you need to get yourself a hands on an Elon Musk and hold him up to the sky.
You know, that's going to come a dirty word.
He says the device is going to look like a UFO on a stick. And all you need to do is plug it in and point it skywards.
Hey, that's what she said.
Now, I was saying, right, there's going to be a bit of something about this because, obviously, where's the money being made? Because it's not a case of that you've got a stick and you point it at the sky. That stick then needs to be connected to a router, which then sends your signal to your devices, So,
along the way,
is this going to be a sideline of Elon where he's going to be like, right...
Well, he wants to try and do it.
We've got all the satellites up. Yeah, but he's not going to give every household and business in the fucking world one of these Elon Musk sticks.
Building a station in it to try and get as much electric power from free. I think it was from solar. He's trying to build one of these stations to get it free for all the electric around the area, and then he's going to do more around the country, and then obviously try and conquer the world with it. Which is a good idea, but like you said, he's going to need money, isn't he? Somewhere along the line, he's going to need a payout.
Yeah, I think it's going to be in the. I think it's going to be in the kit that we need to access Skylink.
Is it going to be like the deal that we've done with China to build the next nuclear power plant, where actually the price of what you have now to when theirs is built, they want 96% on top of what they're paying out.
Right.
Which will absolutely...
So they want to arrest...
And we signed it.
They want to basically recoup that money back over a period of time.
Yeah, but that's a massive... I mean, you're talking like... Let's say your bill's £1,000 a month or a year. You're talking like 4,000 or 5,000 extra on top. Okay. I mean, this is like... They're asking for a fucking massive amount of money. And in a short, a little time as well. And it's the only way that they're going to do it is if it's big.
I think it's a great idea, but the thing is, we said this earlier. It's like when you offer something for free in this global scale, it's going to piss people off.
You don't get shit.
There's a lot of internet companies out there who are like probably thinking, "Wait a minute, you're going to give internet away for free?"
Yeah.
Now, if I have to buy a one-off piece of kit to access free internet, now who knows how fast it is, but computer scientist Mark Hadley basically calculated that Starlink could beat fibre optic cabling in terms of round-trip travel for time of user data. So do you know when you ping something and you basically send a ping to an IP and then it pings it back and it calculates how fast your speeds are?
Oh, yeah.
He's saying that it's going to be beating fibre optic. Yeah. So that's pretty fast. Yeah.
Yeah, but they always say that. They always extend more than they can actually deliver. You know what I mean? Because your Wi-Fi will turn out what you want 10 gigabytes and you're only really getting 4. You know what I mean?
Another thing is, it could be a case of they're just like any other,
take over.
No, just any other internet provider. Whereas, fair enough, he's got global coverage. Yeah, and more people might lean towards that because
companies will probably
will. But like,
which is where he might get his money from.
It's like here it says this suggests Starlink subscribers. Could be a critical part of the global high-speed and residential mesh network. So, you know...
Do you reckon there's a chance? I reckon there's a big
the interesting
chance
thing was there with subscribers is that just sounds like any other service. If I want to be a Netflix subscriber or a Virgin Media subscriber or what.
This is new, and not only that, new technology in there. How big are his bollocks? Are if he turns around to the government and tries and gets everyone to link in, like everyone has a price.
Yeah.
A single price, a small price that you have to pay, like let's say a penny a day. But that still amount is what 7 billion a day, sorry.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So he could make his money that way if he could get it for free. You know what I mean? He could be doing it for a bad reason, he could be doing it for a good reason. But at the end of the day, at least someone apart from the government is doing something about it.
I like his ideas. I think obviously it's a good concept, and if it's a free global internet. Now that doesn't sound free when he's saying subscribers, but we'll see what comes of it.
Yeah,
I think obviously he's got some very ambitious plans, so let's see what
but
keeps
he's done some as well, hasn't he?
Obviously,
really, if you think about it,
Skynet.
Skynet, yeah.
I was doing a bit of research on him, and he's done everything, mate. So he started off with a computer company, sold that, created PayPal. Yeah, Elon Musk created PayPal. Not a lot of people know that. He changed the game in terms of financial sort of how people buy things online. Yeah. Then sold that, created Tesla. Yeah. Nearly went under.
Yeah.
And then
he's not CEO, no.
Then come back big time.
Yeah,
with
he has,
SpaceX, everything like that.
Like his little baby,
amazing. So we watch Elon Musk with with bated breath.
Yeah,
see what happens.
Twitter.
I actually watched the launch the other day of his first 60.
Did you watch it?
The first 60. First 60 satellites going up, and it was very successful. Yeah. All in all, well done.
Everything went to plan.
Another little success story that I found, which I thought was pretty funny actually. Yeah, because obviously, when NASA are out there looking for celestial bodies and stuff going on in space all the time. Yeah. So, stands to reason that they'll find stuff. Yeah. But
they can't find their own ass. Come on,
can't find their own arsehole with both hands. Yeah. Let's put it this way, because a young lad, a teenager of 17 called Wolf.
Good lad.
He's a high school student from New York, and he went a step further than just finding his ass. Yeah, this kid fucking told NASA. He walked in on an internship. Yeah. And basically found a fucking planet. Well done, lad.
Boy.
Well done, Wolf. Right, he found a planet. Not only that, it's fucking how big? 7 times bigger than Earth. Yeah, right.
So you couldn't miss it.
It's amazing.
I want him to find Nibiru now. Turn around and go, "Hey, this is the fucking planet, and by the way, it's on its way." So then I can take my claims and stand up with glory and go, "I told you."
Well, he said he spotted something different. An object appeared to be moving in front of a star, blocking the light, and it turned out to be a planet.
And it's not that far away, is it really?
No, not really. What was it? I think it was about
1.9
light years.
Light years away. Yeah, that's not really that far, considering.
Well, so basically, Wolf explained on CBS New York that it was like that it was something here that he thought was pretty cool. So he basically got the NASA senior officers over to have a look at it, and he's found a legitimate planet.
Now he can drop his vault bait.
It'd be amazing. Yeah. So the planet's been named TOI 133b, 138b, sorry, and it's almost 7 times larger than Earth and would be the size of Saturn, and can be found 1.3 light years away.
Can I live on it?
Well, this is the thing. What happens if this planet turns out to be the planet that harbours life or alien life?
It would be a great achievement if he was the first one to stand on there as well.
That would be if he was the first, if Wolf was the first kid to meet the inhabitants.
I'm standing on there. That fucking mine now. Get out of it. Drop me off. See ya.
Well, I thought it was cool. Anyway.
Yeah, that's
nice
cool,
little
man.
Story.
Yeah, good lad.
It's always cool when, these people out there. There's some guy in that lab, who was watching that telescope and he was looking in that area.
Yeah.
And for fuck's sake,
if I only got that more powerful telescope.
Actually reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons. Do you know when Bart gets detention and he turns around and says, "I want you to help me with my telescope," and he discovers a comet. And it turns out that it's heading for Earth.
Yeah.
It's a good episode, but Seymour or Mr. Skinner, like he was fucking wounded that Bart clocked it.
Yeah, he spent some fucking money on that, didn't he? On defences and shit.
Oh no, I think it's like what's it? They all got in Ned's.
They all, and chucked him out.
Chucked him out.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, but he all come out in the end.
Here's one for you, because I thought this was pretty funny, because I got you something pretty interesting for Christmas dinner.
You did, actually, and I will be eating it live on our...
You're not going to tell the folks what it is?
No, you are.
Right,
what did you get me?
Well, I'm going to tell this story first, because apparently astronauts, they've been getting high in space.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
not high. Well, they're as high as you can go. High as you can go. Yeah. They've been baking cookies.
Yeah,
they've been baking
space
cookies.
Yeah, we like that.
So,
Send us a few down.
This week, back in it's actually last year. It was January 2019. The cookies were actually baked in space.
Yeah, they've done the proper ingredient now. They've got the right mixture, I reckon, by now.
Have they? Do you reckon they've got
but
the
batter?
Won't
be able to eat them,
the batter all good.
They won't be able to eat them.
Well, they've actually kind of come up with a method of baking in space, like basically being able to cook.
It's got to be like in a bag or something.
Yeah, it won't be the greatest, will it? But
no.
Taylor's a bit into his sort of survival stuff.
Ooh, yeah.
And he's obviously he's not a prepper.
I wouldn't say I'm a prepper.
I wouldn't go as far as saying you're a prepper, but
I will be prepared if
we've been camping and stuff, and I've seen he's pulled out ration packs. Yeah, right. Kendall mint cake and fucking all that.
They're nice.
So,
and I've had them for like 20 years, if not longer.
What, Kendall mint cakes?
Yeah.
Well, so I seen this thing over Christmas, when I was like getting these Christmas presents.
Yeah.
And it was a astronaut survival pack sort of thing, or astronaut food.
Yeah.
So you got a nice little sandwich. Got an ice cream sandwich. Yeah. Freeze dried astronaut ice cream sandwich, and he's going to eat it live.
Yes.
You see all the dust come out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Live on the 100th episode.
Well, I have to have little bites, because what you're supposed to do is you swill it.
Oh.
You swill it because it's dry.
Get a bit of
water in there. Yeah, because if I had all that...
Just dip it in a glass of water.
Oh, no, because if I had all that and then I had some liquid afterwards, my stomach will bloat.
That's what I mean, yeah.
What's like doing the cinnamon. I feel like aliens.
Doing the cinnamon challenge.
That's where the idea come from.
What?
Felt like aliens coming out my stomach.
Because I've just eaten an ice cream sandwich.
Yeah. Oh, no, that water's penetrating it.
Well, the cookies were part of an experiment to test if the effects of microgravity when baking good old-fashioned chocolate chip cookies.
Nice.
And the cookies were baked in a special oven, and then they sent them hurtling back to Earth.
What?
Aboard a space capsule before landing in the Pacific Ocean. Scientists picked them up for a taste study.
That's a waste of a capsule.
Really, I think it is, isn't it? Just sending some fucking cookies. Yeah? Did you make these cookies in space? I did.
They're going to be selling them next. Hey, go and get a ISS space cookie. 15 grand a piece.
Well, last bit of NASA news before we move on to the main topic of the day. Mystery UFO. Talking about UFOs and mysteries. We've got another little one in a minute, but UFO sighting. NASA's live stream shows alien craft uncloaking near the ISS.
Good.
And it's a ship, they reckon. A UFO has been spotted near the International Space Station during a NASA live stream. Once
they were supposed to be cutting it off.
Yeah, well, it's still going.
Yeah, it is.
Basically, it's driving conspiracy theories crazy anyway, because obviously they're saying they've seen stuff. They always do cut it off just at the right time, though, don't they?
I think it's just old kind of stuff.
What?
I think it's old past stuff that has been because you can get the archives of the last, however they've been filming, and you could go into it bit by bit to have a look and go, oh, actually, look there, because it's been filmed so long, so far that Fault 9 will probably have it, where they have all the video.
All the ISS videos.
So then you could go in there, have a look at it, and just watch it. And because people don't see unless they have a look again and again and again.
Well,
you know what I
mean? Self-proclaimed extraterrestrial life expert Scott Waring believes that he's captured the moment that a Russian ISS cosmonaut noticed a UFO trio that appeared on the NASA live stream. So it's not just one UFO, it's three. So what I'll do is I'll post that on the website, actually, because it's quite interesting. Probably worth a look, because it's a video.
Do you remember the name of the lady who was our first cosmonaut?
Helen something or other. I can't remember
her
name.
second name. Yeah, this is what I'm trying to find.
Because
she is now come forward on the BBC.
I've actually got the story here.
Have you got the story there?
Yeah.
Right,
I've got the story.
Go for it.
Yeah, just give me a minute. Let me find it.
Problemo.
Which
was interesting because a couple of years ago she turned around and said no.
Dr. Helen Sherman.
That's it.
Says there's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
That aliens do exist and that it's possible that we just can't see them.
Yeah.
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 So
so what's changed her mind then? Why she come forward now? Because she was dead adamant that no. If there is, there'd be long way away.
So she's the first British astronaut to go into space and claimed aliens exist and it's possible that they're living amongst us on Earth.
Good girl.
Speaking to the Observer magazine, Dr. Helen Sharman said there's no two ways that alien exist. There's so many billions of stars out there that in the universe that there must be all sorts of different life forms, she added. It's just common sense, mate.
Yeah, see how they're all changing now. They're all going from no.
They are, aren't they?
You know what? Right. It might be true,
Well, you can't rule it out. That's the thing. Just to point blank turn around and say no, there isn't is just arrogant and ignorant.
Even if you mean?
It's just ignorant.
Yeah.
You can't say it. You can't say what makes you an authority to turn around and say point blank no. There isn't any other life until it turns up on your doorstep. You don't know, right? So get over it. And the fact that there is so many stars, like Dr. Helen says,
who's a bit more of an expert than
she's a doctor as well, and she's actually been to space. So she said that although aliens may not be made of carbon and nitrogen like humans, it's possible that they're right here now and simply we can't see them. The 56-year-old, that's pretty specific.
But you know what?
That's specific.
Yeah,
that is pretty specific. Maybe that's what ghost sightings are. Yeah. So.
Well, you know what? I was just going to pop into that kind of thing.
So the 56-year-old worked as a chemist before making history as the first British astronaut to participate in the mission to the Soviet module space station Mir in 1991.
And not astronaut.
Yeah, she also highlighted in an interview that she's often referred to as the first British woman in space rather than simply the first Briton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she is. Well, she was both. She was both, so...
Well, yeah, but this is it. People focus on one rather than the other.
But people always like it's individualising. When you don't need to individualise, there's no need to know about whatever.
Well, I believe her. I think she's seen
especially
something.
The turnaround. To me, it's and like you were saying about the way she was saying it.
Yeah, it's not just
like she knows more than
she's letting on. Well,
because someone else has let them know because they needed things are getting on top now.
Quickly now, and before we move on, we've got one more little thing I want to talk about, and it's Tyler Glockland.
Yeah.
Right, from Secure Team 10. Now, if you're a regular listener of us, we like Tyler, we like guy, Secure Team, I think the guy does a good service. I think I like his videos. It seems like he's been going through a hard time at the moment. Secure Team 10 has got over 2 million subscribers.
Yeah.
And, probably the biggest UFO channel on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
What was you going to say?
You were saying to me, what was it the other day? You were going to do a little check on what's going on with him at the moment.
Yeah, well, like I say, I've just been trying to find out what I can, but basically he posted, he went missing for a few months. Yeah. Nobody had seen him. He was people getting pissed off because
he had little issues.
Well, people patron him, and
that's true.
They give him, mate. Some of these people are giving $10 a month to help the guy get his videos out, and then 2 months go by. Don't you feel like you've just paid $20 for nothing?
Yeah, but he was doing a video one. He was doing a documentary.
Well, no, that's what he says. He was making a video. Now, like I say, I want to be pretty impartial on this, right? Because I just want to deliver the facts as I see him, right? So generally, what's happened is he then comes back. He says on a tweet saying, "Oh shit, I'm being framed. I'm sorry I've not had a video out. I've totally been framed. I've been prison, this, that and the other. Yeah. I'll explain in a video, right?
Yeah.
So then this video appears on YouTube basically saying that he's been, again, I've been framed is what the video is called. And he's basically saying how he'd been He woke up in his car with a police officer said give him a DUI. Yeah. Right. He says he never does drugs. He never does he doesn't drink. It's totally straight edge. And then he's ended up going to jail for apparently.
They released him. Then
they've come to his house and arrested him again because the neighbours have complained, or they've had a complaint about domestic abuse, right?
And the wife, apparently his wife's there going,
well, this is from Tyler's, right? But they took him away. He's ended up being on charges, and there's a mugshot of him about, So this video went up, and he got such a backlash off it. People were just fucking ripping into him, saying it's, oh my God, just be honest, like the fact is, you've had a fucking problem. Now, I personally, I would have had a lot more respect if the guy would have just come back and went, listen, I've got a wife. She doesn't like the fact that I'm making videos all the time and spend more time on YouTube than I do with my wife.
You've got to have your own life.
You've got to have a bit of me time, right? So I've took a week off. I've took a couple of weeks off, Right, okay, fair enough, but it's come back with this whole I've been framed thing. It's like people, nobody knows what to make of it, right? Seems like he's losing it a little bit, right?
Yeah, he's...
Well, the video's been taken down now, but you can still find it. It's on YouTube if you look on other people's pages.
Yeah.
But I just think it's a bit of a strange one. I've been trying to follow a bit more about what's happening and try and find out a bit more information. And if I do, well, I'll let you know. Let you know on the cast. But like I say, I've been a big fan of Tyler's for a long time, and I hope he gets his shit together and sorts it out.
I responded on behalf of us.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I responded basically. I was trying to look for the message then saying, like, sorry, you're having a hard time and all that. Hope you get back, sort things out and shit.
Yeah,
we're behind you. If everything's is what he's saying. And then I had a look at my tweets the other day, and it was like, it's gone, all taken down, and it was like, what the?
Yeah, well, this is it. I think it seems like he's, he's one of those things where you don't read the comments. But he's saying I've got a team of lawyers and all the rest of it.
You know what I thought? I honestly thought.
If I was his lawyer, I'd be saying take that video down. That makes you look like a fucking crazy guy.
Yeah,
it doesn't. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's not going to do you any favors by having that, by posting these types of things. Or I was thinking, does it go against his bail talking about it? Do you know?
It might do.
So that's why he's taking it down.
Might do, yeah.
But then also I thought, maybe it's just because he's had a realization and thought I sound like an absolute knobhead. So who knows?
Could be. But it was sort of nice to see that he did something like that. You know what I mean? Instead of not coming back and like leaving it as it was.
I think people would have just been happy if a fucking random normal UFO video that he'd normally do
he just wants to get his head back in
and just came up in my stream. I'd just go, hey, and I'd watch it and I'd enjoy it, and it'd be look UFOs and look aliens and strange happenings, and that's what I'd be focusing on. But that's not what I'm focusing on, because now I'm focusing on him more than I am what his content's about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. But one of the first things I thought of, and I don't know if it makes me sound like a dick or what, because like one of the first things I thought of is go back and have a look at the last couple of videos that he'd done.
Right, okay.
To just see, you ever seen the film Conspiracy Theories?
Oh, look who you're asking, bro.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean? Well, I thought I'd better check, you know what I mean?
Oh, but, yeah.
Well,
I think that one slipped me by.
He found something, writ something down, it went out, it went published, and then all his hassle and shit started going down. Now, I thought about this, about doing it from where he left off and from where he was supposed to
see
be.
What his demeanour was like, or...
To see if there was anything in there. Listen to what he's saying and see if there's actually anything in there.
Like if he's leaving any sort of subliminal clues or anything
not
like
necessarily subliminal, but something that might think, that's nothing, but it's actually something that he's come across, and like it hasn't
that
been
actually
given the
is
attention
sparked.
it should have.
Maybe, yeah. Well, like, have you done that? Have you been and had a look through?
I haven't. I'm going to do it though.
Okay.
And also from the time when he actually said that there was someone outside, I'm going to have a little look back there. I think I actually did. when he come up with that. I think I did actually go back and go, right, let's have a look at some of these and see if, just on the interest of, making myself clear that there was nothing in there.
Yeah.
Or the videos might go afterwards.
Well, well, this is it. How do you know that one's not been taken down?
Well,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
been a while, hasn't it? So, that will make me more suspicious then. So then I will.
He's
try
a
and
suspicious guy, generally speaking.
Or try and remember what that was about.
We'll move on now. Anyway, we've got a lot to get through when we're running out of time. But I've got a big announcement as well. We've got a new member of the Never a Straight Answer team.
We have, yeah.
Not so much a presenter on this side, but she'll be coming in occasionally to do a few shows. I think.
Have a little chinwag with us. Tell us.
The lovely EJ. She's been a fan for a while, but we've been chatting. She does basically. She's writing articles for us for the website.
Yeah, we appreciate.
So she'll be a new article every week.
Yeah.
And I've just posted the new one today, so go and check it out.
Yeah, go and check it out.
It's a good one. Yeah, it's about it's about treasure.
Yeah. I'm going to have a little peek at this.
Do you know what? Right, I'm a big fan of treasure.
A little treasure hunt.
Treasure hunts. Yeah, I'm big into Oak Island, right? Which is cool because they're finding stuff.
Yeah, but it's
a lot at the moment. But the forest fern treasure, right, is something that kind of piqued my interest a bit ago. Yeah. And I thought, this is cool, right? This is an old chap who basically hidden a treasure chest with gold and rubies and diamonds and bits and pieces that are worth a few quid. Yeah, up to around about the value of $2 million. Nice. Right, he's hid it. Yeah. And if you want to find out more, go to the website. Yeah. And check out EJ's amazing article.
Where you'll find out.
Yeah, and it's pretty linked up as well, so he gets you into all the like blogs and related materials. Yeah, so go and check it out.
Your own investigation.
Yeah, let us know what you think. EJ's going to be joining us next week on the show.
Yeah, can't wait,
via satellite link by Elon Musk link up.
Yeah, and the NSA.
Yeah, they'll all be listening. Yeah. So, okay, now that shit me up. So
it is a bit spooky next.
So she'll be, joining us next week. So, everyone make her feel welcome. Posting some stuff up on the Twitter. So give it a like.
Yeah.
And
give it a listen. Yeah.
Always give us a listen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's fucking where's your head at?
Yeah.
So, like I say, this week we're going to be covering. In fact, I'm going to spooky up the tunes, spooky up the music a little bit because, I think it deserves it.
Yeah, go on then.
So this week, as we discussed earlier, we're going to be talking about the Tube.
The Tube.
Yeah, talking about we're going to be talking about the London Underground specifically, right? But there's a bit of a dark history behind the London Underground because obviously when I was researching this, I started to find out about like what was disturbed when the underground was, constructed, and
beforehand actually.
Well, yeah, of course, obviously.
I've got some with beforehand.
Not even just beforehand, because obviously these there was a lot of sort of burial pits because of like the Black Death and the plague that was rampant. It was obviously the fire of London. It was like tragedies and shit going on. Not only that, but then like obviously landscapes change over the years, and where once was a monastery or once was a church,
ain't no more.
Now is a tower block. Right? What's that tune? What was that tune called? Where what was it off? What? Oh mate. Oh, it's gone. It's done. Never mind.
Your mind's gone.
Right, yeah. I know, and I've totally forgot where I'm up to now as well. But basically, you've got all these monasteries, these crypts. They've gone. Oh, that was it. It's Nothing But Flowers by I can't remember who the band are, but it's once was a parking lot, now it's all covered in daisies.
No,
you got it. Oh, anyway, it's a good tune. Yeah, but it's basically the gist of that song is about like how the landscape's been devoured and changed into car parks and fucking all the rest of it. Yeah. But the point being is when the London Underground was being developed, they shifted a lot of earth
Yes, they did.
Moved a lot of graves.
Yes,
had to do a lot of excavations and move a lot of
but
bodies.
they found a king. They did find
indeed.
a king.
Yeah, they did find a king.
Yeah.
But it's a weird one, man. It's like the London Underground. It has over 3 million visitors a day.
Yeah.
Moving around the city.
It's busy.
A lot of the time, I don't think that they need to use the tube. Yeah, because it's like it's deceiving. It's like things aren't as far as you think they are.
Yeah.
So you're like, as a tourist, you might get on a tube and go one stop because you think that's what you need to do when it's literally around the corner.
Well, yeah, but it makes money, doesn't it?
It's got a rich history of death, suicide, crypts and graves,
fires and disasters.
Lots of disasters. Yeah. And also, it's the oldest underground network in the world. Which obviously, it's just fucking haunted, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So it's got to be one of the most, if not the most haunted.
You couldn't have a place like that and not have it haunted.
Places in the world. Now, it's funny, actually, because when I was researching this, I pulled up a map that was, underground stations that had paranormal experiences in.
Oh, yeah.
And literally, it was all of them.
All the crosses.
Literally, all of them were, bar a couple. Yeah. But I'm not even joking, 95% of these tube stations have had issues.
Yeah, but that's where people are generally going to be. They're not going to be in between the tracks, walking along the line. So I suppose,
I've actually got a little story about that. Yeah. A little bit later on.
Okay. Did you know Derek Accorda died this week?
Derek Accorda? Yeah. I've met Derek Accorda. Oh, yeah. I have. I've got his autograph somewhere. Did you see the Phoenix Nights? At all? Peter Kay's Phoenix Nights. Yeah. I think that guy was heavily modelled on Derek Accorda. Yeah. Do you know the psychic?
Yeah, psychic who wasn't.
Now, again, I think Derek Accorda is one of those guys who's,
he's an entertainer. Come on.
Well, I think these people who can class themselves as mediums, who are just opportunists and very good at reading people. Now, I could, with a bit of training,
do what he did.
Right. And it's just all about observations and knowing the things you need to look for in order to give an accurate reading. Yeah. And I think it's pretty. I mean, I don't want to be like, at the end of the day, I'm sure these people out there legit, right. But there's a lot who aren't, right, and the charlatans, and people pay good money to just hear what they want to hear,
but is it a case that it is like our religion is? You've gone there, you want to find out, get some information to make you happy.
Of course, of course. You want to be, you want to feel.
Sort of why church is there, isn't it?
I understand why they do it. I just think it's like these people are a bit kind of.
Only really
it's a bit
good
tight.
Thing it is for.
Well, you were saying about
it helps. You know what I mean? But
of course,
don't put your life on it.
Derek Accorda, you will be missed.
Yeah, you will. All right.
He might. Man. Well, no. To be fair, he'll come back.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if he's got that, if he's got the skills, mate, he can come back and tell us all about it.
I want you. Yeah, let's see if we can get an interview out of him. Yeah.
Well, what?
But we've got a problem.
Go on.
That woman might marry him. The one who likes the ghost.
Oh, why?
Yeah. The male might turn around, and go, you know what? Poof, I'm gone. Bye.
Yep.
You give me earache too much, mate.
All right.
Derek Accorda might have to pop himself in there.
Well, let's move back on to haunted tube stations. One of the biggest ones that basically I travel London quite a bit. There's two stations I usually use. Yeah, right. 2 free stations, right? So I use.
Make up your mind, 2 or 3.
Well, no, it depends, right? Yeah. Because when I first started using the tube, I don't end up because I get off the train at Euston Station, right? And then there is a tube station in Euston, so you get on there. And you could only go as far as Moorgate before having to change onto the Hammersmith line going to Liverpool Street. Now, Liverpool Street is the main station I use, right? So I decided to try going to Euston Square instead, which is literally 2 minutes walk round the corner, right? You don't have to change. I don't like changing, I'd rather just get on and off, And if a walk's better than a change, in my opinion, right? Yeah. So generally, it's Euston Square, Moorgate and Liverpool Street, right, which is the main, say 4 stations, but I've slimmed it down to Euston Square and Liverpool Street.
Sure, it ain't 7.
Nah, it's
sure
two.
7?
It's generally two. Yeah, but 4 at a push.
Now you're putting your hand
right?
up to 4.
At
That's
a push,
double, mate.
right?
That's double.
Now, Liverpool Street is probably one of the most haunted stations.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think it felt like weird down there, but it is a bit creepy. I've got a story here about a CCTV captures a man in white overalls at around 2 a.m. on the platform, right? Now, obviously, there's not meant to be anybody on the platform at 2 a.m., especially anyone in overalls.
Yeah.
So there was no one meant to be there. No maintenance was scheduled. So whoever was the strange man was, they wanted to know what he was doing.
Yeah.
Right. So Steve Coates, 23 years experience on, working the lines, had been basically tasked with going down there and seeing what the crack was and who this guy was.
Yeah.
So he's head down to the platform on Liverpool Street to investigate, and he claims that when he got there, the platform was empty. There was nobody there, right?
Yeah.
So he's radioed back to the CCTV control room to report what his findings were.
Yeah.
And he's got onto his mate. He's like, there's no one here. And his colleague goes, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm watching you on the CCTV.
Oh, yeah.
You were stood right next to the guy.
Yeah.
And he was like, what do you mean I was stood next? He goes, go back. He says, look, I've just checked both tunnels. There's nobody at the entrance to the tunnels. There's no one on the platforms.
Yeah.
So he goes, well, I'm just going to go back and have another look. So he goes back and he said, there's definitely no one here, right? But as he was leaving, he says that he found a pair of white overalls draped over the bench.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, how did he make those physical? How would he become physical? And is there a butt naked ghost running around now?
Not necessarily. Don't know. That's it. That is a question.
Do you know what I mean? So the fact that I believed it up until the point when he said he found the overalls, I don't know why. Yeah, but and the fact that his colleague said, no, you stood right next to him, I could see you both on the CCTV.
Yeah.
Which was a bit weird. Yeah. But
it doesn't happen to be William, does it?
What?
Does it happen to be William?
William, I've not got a clue what this guy was. He was just all known as the guy, in white overalls. But like I say, a recent excavation above Liverpool Street found hundreds of uncoffined bodies in a mass burial, and there was around 80 per cubic metre. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Literally just above Liverpool Street Station, and apparently it was a plague site, right?
Yeah.
So
there was loads of them.
But they didn't know that was there up until that point a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Well, the fire.
What do you reckon?
The fire, London fire.
The Great Fire of London?
Yeah.
Well, the Black Death as well. There was a lot of bodies just being dumped into... Now, you've got to remember...
Fire would have burnt the paperwork.
True that, but you've got to remember that these tube stations are over 150 years old, a lot of them, right?
Yeah.
They've seen 2 world wars, right? Untold tragedies, right?
Oh, yeah.
Real workers dying on the job, commuters dying in fucking accidents, suicides... all types of manner of things. It's like, and then at them depths, it's like it's not natural for humans to be down there.
No.
So there's a lot of stuff about kind of, are we getting these weird feelings due to kind of like resonance frequencies and kind of like low frequency sound waves that are making us that apparently do alter our perception and make you see things and hear things that aren't strictly there. So Have you been looking into it? I mean, what stations have you come across that you thought Liverpool Street? Was there any others that?
162 people died because of the Nazis.
Right. Okay.
Because it was used as a shelter one time, and people hear screaming of a girl called Rachel Griffin, who's they hear screams there because they reckon in past tense she was in an asylum not that far away from that place, and when she was buried, she wasn't buried with a certain coin that she always handled.
Right, okay.
So so people hear her screaming.
Now there's another Scream Inspector, which she's known as the Scream Inspector, and that's at Farringdon Station. Literally hundreds of passengers and staff members have all heard the horrific screams from this London Underground spirit, and it's apparently been known to send shivers down the spines of the most hardened man. And basically, it's even put people off from using the station altogether. I mean, I've been to Farringdon. I've never heard anything there myself.
But
I'll be keeping my ears open next time I'm down in the Farringdon.
Farringdon, I've got one for that. That's a really spooky one there for people. A lot of people. It's not unusual to hear a girl scream there.
That's the Screaming Spectre, yeah.
Yeah. And the reason why is because the area used to be, before the station was made, the area was actually like a sort of like a council estate, but it was where criminality and gambling, a lot of gambling and that was done around there. Now, there was a little girl called Annie, who was a 15-year-old who used to make hats, basically. That's what she used to do. So she lived with her mother, and she used to work for a woman and her daughter. But she used to get slapped around and, starved and all this bit. But they killed her one time.
Just the once?
Well, just the once.
Right, okay.
So to get rid of the body, they put it in the attic. But as soon as the smell started coming through, they decided to cut her into little pieces and burn her.
So not a good way to go then. It's pretty fucking tortured way to go, yeah.
It stank of burnt flesh. So with the rest of the body, they dumped it in a sewers, which ends up being not that far and connected to the station.
All right, okay.
And people basically hear her screaming.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Now, King's Cross... Yeah.
Oh, good King's Cross.
Now, some people, right, there's a thing about King's Cross, obviously, platform 9 3/4.
Yeah.
Everyone knows platform 9 3/4.
Yeah.
But at King's Cross, there was actually a guy, a rail worker, who was killed between platforms 9 and 10. Yeah.
All right, okay.
And apparently there's a ghost that supposedly haunts King's Cross station.
Yeah.
But there's also a couple more. I've got a few. The disappearing woman, a young woman with long hair, was walking the length of the station. A commuter reported seeing the woman, and he claimed that when he saw the woman, she looked basically distressed, distraught, and just kind of wandering around King's Cross station.
Yeah.
So he's walked over to her to offer the woman some comfort.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He says she clearly looked like in fits of state, looked distressed. But when he reached her, she simply passed straight through him.
See, I've got a sort of similar one there, because there was a woman stood in the platform on her knees, crying out towards the line with her hands out.
Right.
So this woman went up to her and tried to see if she was all right, and all of a sudden a man just walked straight through her. So she's now looking at the man because he's just walked straight through her, and then when she turns back, the girl had gone.
Right, okay. So there seems to be a kind of a
reoccurring
to be a bit of
thing,
a reoccurrence, because there's another story based in King's Cross, where visitors of the station have reported strange, unpleasant smells within the station without being able to provide or prove anywhere that it's coming from. As well as seeing a female figure dressed in black, who is also since became known as the Black Nun. Right. This London Underground ghost was the brother of a man who worked nearby in a bank, and was basically unjustly executed many years ago. The very bank that gave the station its name, right, where he worked, right? So it's believed that the nun is unable to get over the death of her brother. Now, apparently, the woman used to go to the bank every day before she died to find a brother, because she went a bit mental, because, like, her brother was unjustly murdered for a crime, and she'd go to the bank every day to try and, find her brother.
Out. Yeah.
And they'd say, he's not here and all the rest of it. So there's some suspicion that this is the same woman being seen, and she's still making that pilgrimage to the bank to see it. But again, it's like that. That was in the bank. That wasn't at King's Cross. That was at Bank Station.
Yeah.
Got a couple more for Bank, actually.
King's Cross is actually the biggest interchange.
Oh, is it?
And that's why I suppose a lot of things happen there. And in 1987, there was a horrible fire that swept through there, which killed 31 people and injured over 100 people, and wasn't reopened until 1989, which after that people hear things in there.
Well,
from this day on.
Bank is one of the oldest stations on the network, and it's often tales of a ghostly woman knocking, slamming doors, and lots of other strange happenings. One of the entrances to Bank Station used to be the entrance to a church crypt, which was adjacent when the station was built and then renovated. Basically, they exhumed all the bodies and they were moved, and that was in 1900. But basically, the crypt was located where the ticket hall now stands. So one of the entrances to Bank Station was an entrance to the crypt, and where the ticket hall is, that was the crypt itself. So that's pretty fucked up. These are things that are, not very uncommon. They're happening all the time. Do you know what I mean?
This is the thing about it. You do not. There are actually loads of stories.
Exactly, and lots of staff have reported strange things happening on more than one occasion. And more than one line. In fact, you would have to be hard pressed not to find a station that doesn't have some sort of tragic backstory of ghostly apparitions.
Know about the circle?
What's that?
Well, there's a part where it makes the trains, go.
That's
stop there.
Is it Kingston Junction or Kingsley Junction or something like that? I can't remember.
They stopped there for about 20 minutes, but they've heard like doors slamming right towards them. Apparently, there was a worker that got killed there when it was being made, but it's quite haunted in that part. Apparently. There's quite a lot of people who've heard.
Like I say, I think with the fact that you've got all these bodies that have been moved. I mean, I said, if I was buried, and I'd be wanting
to be buried.
I want to be buried, and I want to be buried in peace. If a decade later they decide to fucking build a bypass or a tunnel or whatever, go fuck yourself, mate. I'm going to haunt this tunnel to fuck. You just woke me up. So I've got no qualms in believing.
But you hang around like a little building.
Mate, there's a reason. There's a reason why horror movies, they're like, oh, this house is haunted because it was built on an ancient Indian burial ground. Do you know what I mean? It's like that's the fucking fundamental baseline of horror hauntings.
Yeah, but it's the cast line aren't exactly the fucking smartest people in here. Yeah, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go on my own. We know there's something happening in here, but I'm going to go in on my own anyway.
All my batteries ain't
working right. Fuck it, I'll use a lighter. You know what I mean? You've always get a dumb fucker.
Always run upstairs.
The victim.
Well, you got to think that as far as these undergrounds go,
it's too funny.
Most of these tunnels were created fucking years ago. And it's a hell of a lot of earth to be moved, exposing all kinds of things. We've already discussed the mass graves and stuff like that. But
I think it works out to be something like, and I don't think I'm even overestimating this, about 80,000.
So
people. There's got to be at least nearly 100,000 people been found.
Where was the most creepiest one you found? I mean, have you got more that you found out about, or stories that interested you?
It was the creepiest I found.
Which one?
The Anna one, the one where she was chopped up.
Oh, right, okay.
Because it turned out when they actually found the body, a day later, the woman and her daughter wasn't prosecuted because the coroner put it down to it wasn't murder.
Right, okay.
So, but years later, the daughter starts opening her fucking mouth and starts saying this, that and the other. They both got death sentence. So justice was served. But, it was the times, you know what I mean? Different times, different things.
I found this one quite interesting. It was linked to the Covent Garden tube station, and it's about a murdered actor.
Oh, okay. This is why I was saying William before.
So he's a shadowy, dark figure and seemed to resemble an actor, William Terce. Basically, he was a guy who used to work the Adelphi and act there. Character actor, stage actor, did a lot of stuff. I can't remember exactly all the details, but apparently this guy's been seen in Covent Garden Tube Station a number of times. And it's always kind of the same story where a night worker's locking up for the night, closes the lift, and then realises there's a figure behind, and he goes, "Wait a minute, mate, I'll just open it up, I'll let you out." Turns around, and then he's gone, right? So there was an incident back in the 50s, and then again in the 70s. So when the 70s one happened, it was a lad who basically thought he saw a tall figure. He discussed it with his colleague and said, "I fucking just seen something weird." Yeah. And he shown him an old photograph of William. He said, "Is this the guy?" And he said, "That is the guy." And he just basically said, "That's the actor who was stabbed outside the Adelphi."
Yeah, by Richard Prince.
That's right. Yeah. There was a book about them both. Do you know about their acting in the Adelphi and you know,
because he was doing Secret Service in when was it? The year was I just had it a fucking minute ago. 1897.
Well,
when it actually happened.
Well, many years ago, the actor used to visit a bakery that was knocked down to make room for the station, which explained why he haunts the area. Who's like, he really loves them sausage rolls.
But do you know what his last words were?
What?
Arnie, I'd love this.
"I'll be back."
Yeah, that was his last words. Yeah.
"I'll be back. Don't you worry. I'll hunt you."
Yeah, man.
Ow.
Apparently from his fiancée, that's one of the last words he ever said.
Do you know what? Quality. And he was. And
he keeps coming back,
You've got to think that, you know, like these hauntings, they do happen all the time, but there's been a lot less sightings recently. So
wait until Ghostbusters comes out.
Yeah. But you've got to think, how is it that over time people have just forgot to keep telling the stories, and or is it because there's so much traffic nowadays that people just don't see them? Or they fucked off because they
lost
just
in translation, I think.
Well, this is it.
Over the years,
you travel through, you're mooching away through. Now, some of these stations, Covent Garden in particular, wasn't a very busy station back in the day, and now all of a sudden it gets fucking ridiculous amounts of traffic.
So it's like central, basically.
Exactly, yeah, but it never used to be that popular.
No.
But all of a sudden, because of tourism and the way London is, it's hammered now, that station.
Yeah, hammered.
Do you think that's why William only turns up in the middle of the night when there's nobody there, or is he there all the time but nobody notices him?
I think it's the same as the UFO thing. Like, it's the case of, if you stood there, looked into the sky, and stood there for a good, fucking 20 hours, 30 hours, however long it takes, and
eventually you'd see one.
Yeah. At the end of the day, there was a guy in California, I think his stuff's up on the net, where there was a thing in Gulf Breeze where you used to see UFOs every night, yeah. So he decided what he was going to do is get a camera, put it up to the sky, and leave it there all day and see what would happen.
Okay, and what did he find?
He picks up shitloads of stuff. Seriously, he weren't like seagulls and shit. He was picking up fucking...
There's an actual...
We look down, we don't look up. We're too busy looking at our phones, so there'd be no way, less chance of us seeing a UFO. It's because we're getting forced to look down instead of up.
Okay. Fair enough. We're too busy looking at our mobile devices. Yeah. That's what it is. I found this interesting as well. There's a tunnel that's disused now. Yeah, called Page's Walk. Have you heard about this?
Is this the one that it was a station and then they closed it down not that long after it opened up?
I'm not too sure, but basically it's disused. It's a disused tunnel and partially goes underneath the Thames, right?
Is it Churchill's bunker?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know. All I know is this is a crazy unused tunnel that goes halfway under the River Thames. Many people have reported that it's creepy as fuck. There's a change in temperature, gale force winds, doors slamming, and more besides. Basically, leaving you wouldn't want to go down Page's Walk, right? One worker basically said he was down there for 3 months. He said he's worked in every single condition, and he said there's stuff that goes on in Page's Walk that he cannot explain. So experts have been down there, and they've tried to explain the winds and the gales and the the reasons behind this, and partially it's like, you know, a combination of trains going in different directions that cause winds to slam doors and stuff like that, but it still gives you that creepy vibe. Do you know what I mean? This one guy turned around and just said, no, I've worked in some fucked up conditions, and this is the worst place I've ever worked, and I don't like it. Do you know, I'm a big man, I'm a manly man. Yeah. But you were talking about, but in terms of disused tunnels or tunnels that don't have pedestrian access, right? You mentioned one earlier about the loop. Which is designed to turn trains around in the tunnel system. And there's seems to be loads of incidents there where doors have been opened on the carriage when the train's been totally empty. There's no way that
every door closer to the driver.
So the driver's in there and he can hear movement on his train, like he's got somebody on board, but there's no physical way there could be anyone on there. Oh man, there's so many different stories. Another little story which I thought was cool was a story of the ghost traveller, the ghost commuter, right? And this is on on one of the lines, in particular, but generally, you could be sat on the tube and be the only person on the carriage, but you look up and you catch a glimpse of your reflection, and there's somebody sat in the seat next to you. And that's been reported quite a lot.
Aliens.
Aliens did it.
Aliens.
So
our astronauts telling us the truth now.
So we're looking on time. So we've covered quite a few different tube stations. I think there's, like I say, every tube station's got quite a lot of history and there's a lot going on. I think we could totally come back to this because there's, like I say, literally every station on the map has got a history.
It's got
and I think we could totally look into this a lot more. The last one I want to talk about quickly before we move on is the newest line on the network, which is the Jubilee line. It's been, only just been kind of really completed, and opened up.
It took long.
It has taken a while, hasn't it? Yeah. So the Jubilee line, when that was in its construction, they actually had to relocate a lot of bodies for that one as well, which they went through 2 or 3 monasteries when they were kind of doing the building.
Fucking sickening, man.
So as far as the underground expansion's going, it just means more earth moved, more bodies disturbed, more sort of more progress is the word. I think that's what it is, isn't it?
Well, there's always a catch. Where there's always that thing when you move something will happen because of it.
It's every action has an equal and
that's the fucker.
Or more violent reaction.
That's that dirty one.
Well, like I say, we've had so many more stories we could cover about this, and we probably will. We'll come back to it. It's an interesting topic. But strange happenings, man. Fucking strange things going on. Something's wrong.
Weird, man. Weird.
Always going on in the London Underground. If you're a visitor to London and you want to check out the Underground, you let me know if you've had any weird experiences, and we'll give you a shout out. Makes sense to me anyway about all this. You think you're fucking going to be disturbing stuff like that you're going to end up with ghostly sightings, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I suppose I don't know, maybe your essence has been left.
You're fucking with my essence. Well, we asked the good people of Twitter, have you had any ghostly happenings? Is there anything ghostly happened to you? Where is the most haunted place you visited? We had plenty of response to this one. Well in, everybody, for getting involved. EJ is our new big shout out to EJ. She says her parents' old house was haunted. Stuff was moving around. Voices could be heard every few months or so. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
Liz, she's sent us a message. She said I live in a haunted house. In the property, and the property is haunted. I also grew up in a haunted house where shadow people, objects moving, doors opening and closing, footsteps when there was no one around. All normal here.
I think there's one that we're going to have to do on that, and the shadow people.
The shadow. This actually is on the list. I've compiled a very intensive list of topics for the 2020 year, and you are all in for some fucking treats, my friends. Jenny says her garage. She says her garage has got a ghost, and they do some pretty tricky little things when they're ignored.
It's wind, isn't it?
I travel to the other places that are haunted as well.
Yeah.
But the most actual activity I've seen is right in my home.
Oh.
And she said, so she's she looks for it. She's out there looking for ghosts.
I'm wondering, right, because these people are found, are they going to do an exorcism or are they going to leave it?
Well, just leave it. Question. I think if they're not bothering you, you don't need to bother them.
Well, that is true, yeah, but, there is some irritating ones.
Well, here's one. He said, yeah, I've seen ghosts a few times. This is the white whirlwind burrito woman, or buffalo woman.
Buffalo woman.
Yeah. Okay. She says yes a few times. The spirits never bothered me. They just watched. But
if you're not bothered, then
did pick on the men in the house.
Oh shit! So female control.
Ah, yeah. Badoosh, which I don't know. You see, I've got a feeling Badoosh is Mr. Crabtree and Mr. Crabtree is Badoosh. Okay. One in the same. It'd correct me if I'm wrong, but Priory Woods in Sale. So he says they're haunted.
Oh.
So it's not too far, that, actually. Yeah, maybe we could take a trip down to Priory Woods, see what the crack is.
Yes. Yeah.
The Conspiracy Theory Theoryology podcast said, pretty convinced that our current house is haunted. Several compelling events have occurred that have given the whole family a story or two to tell. Fortunately, it's been very friendly, haunting, and sometimes even helpful. Oh, so I'm pretty interested in what did it do?
Helpful.
What did it do that was helpful to
Usually
you?
They're an irritant, but you know what I mean. You usually hear stories. Oh, we threw this
shit, I
across
can't find my car keys. Oh, there they are. Nice one. Those. Crackpot Theory podcast says, I live across the road from some ancient ruins. These are usually the sort of paranormal shenanigans going on there, but we think it might be a fairy ring, not ghosts.
Fairy ring? Oh, interesting.
Fucking little fairies. Luckily, our door frame is reinforced iron. Well done.
Yeah, make sure the bottom's patched up as well.
Chalky White said Old Trafford. So I said, is it haunted? I said, I've never heard any stories of Old Trafford being haunted. And he said, yeah, it's full of tortured souls.
Yeah, we are tortured.
And that's it. That's all of them. That's thanks for all your response to that, guys. It really means a lot. We've also got some shout-outs for you. Yeah. Shout-outs. Let's give some shout-outs. Got some big shout-outs to our featured podcast this week, or this month. First podcast of the year.
Yeah.
Grief Burrito. Get over and check them out. If you want to get over to our website, you can find their latest episode, links to their sites, all the stuff like that. They do gaming, but they do a lot of stuff, to be honest. Yeah. They're big into the gaming, but they do talk spooky. They do a series of Spooky Burrito.
Not wrong with that.
Do a lot of stuff. Big shout out to Jenny. Of Not So Minnesota Nice fame. Yeah. Also, big shout out to Jesse G. Big shout out to Mr. Crabtree. Big shout out to Gareth as well.
Talking about him.
He just messaged the other day. A fucking guy cares, man. Yeah. Right? He said he cares. He said, "Where's the boys, man? Where are the boys? I need
we're here, mate. We're here."
I said, "I'm sorry. It's my fault. I'd been dying. Soz."
Yeah.
Big shout out to Deep in History podcast.
Yes.
Also, big shout out to Tennish. Happy New Year to you guys.
A lot of you on Twitter lately. Actually.
I know, they're good lads, man. Yeah. Tennish podcast. Big fans of Tennish. Also, what I just say, the Not So Minnesota Nice podcast will be returning. I think they're recording from the end of the month.
Oh, man.
Doing a reboot.
Oh,
so
sweet.
Prepare for them to flood back into your inboxes, and I'm going to be making them our featured podcast next time as well. They don't know, but I'll fuck them. Sorry, I said fuck them. I will make them my. I didn't say I would fuck them. Anyway, you crude mind.
You said it.
I know. Yeah, I kind of realised when I said it. I said what I said.
I know,
and it didn't mean. I said what I said. I can't take it back.
You can.
All right. Anyway, who else have we got shout outs for? What else have I got? If you want, that's it, man. I can't be doing with it. if you've got any questions or want to talk to us or do anything like that, you know where to go. You can email us at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com. Alternatively, just go to the website where we've got downloadable episodes, loads of new content, blogs, articles by the lovely EJ, myself, and Mr. T. Twitter, get yourself on Twitter at NASA_never. We're on Instagram, put some photos up on there. Yeah. And if you want to help us out in the new year and help us fucking boost this podcast to fucking meteoric heights, then you can get over to, well, spread it like the virus I've just had. It was a fucking killer. Yeah, if you can do that, then we're on a winner. So, so get yourself over to Patreon and help us out. Stick a few quid in there. If you like helping people, which we know you do. Yes. You know. Oh, prize people. Yeah, right. I've not forgot about you. Your prizes are on the way, right? Yeah. Oh, you're in for a treat. They've been ill, but you're in for a treat, yeah, because do you know what? Revamp the prize, because the prize is going to be something a bit better, I think.
Yeah, but, I think everyone's going to be happy.
I'm making you a fucking... Yeah, watch this space. Just watch this space.
Open the parcel when you get it.
Oh, what's in the box?
What's in the box? It's empty again. What the...
Nothing illegal. No. Well, little bits illegal. Anyway, right.
Shh, don't say no more.
Say no more. Right, anyway, I think that's pretty much it. We've enjoyed it. I'm glad to be back, actually. If you want to get in touch. We love interacting with everybody listening, and we just love doing the podcast. And may 2020 be a year of fucking just amazing greatness.
It's a good start with Brexit.
Well, don't even go there. Anyway, that's for another time. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the show. I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
This has been Never a Straight Answer. We'll catch you next time for another fucking episode. Peace out. Sorry, I stole your line.
Sausage rolls.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.